What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports, we are back, and it's nearly the end of the Premier League season, mate.
Been a long 38 match weeks.
Mate, don't you think this has actually been the longest Premier League season ever? Like,
It feels really long. It also feels really short at times. Like, I can't believe it's come this soon. But also, Tuchel was fired at the beginning of the season.
yeah, exactly. That whole
It makes sense in my head.
that whole handshake thing with Conte, where they like
Yeah.
had a bit of beef and squared up to each other and like wouldn't let go of each other's hands. That was like
Yeah.
this season.
That honestly doesn't compute in my head. That feels like 2 years ago.
It's mad. And think about it, we had a World Cup as well. Like we had a
Yeah.
World Cup this year. I know that was a little bit more recent than that, but it's mad. And maybe the World Cup's actually elongated it a little bit, made it seem so long. Tuchel in charge of Chelsea, that seems like an absolute lifetime ago.
I mean,
Uh,
you'd take that now, wouldn't
oh, 100%, mate, 100%,
you?
100%. I saw like a Chelsea fan on Twitter was like put a video of like this time a year ago last season, and it was Conte, it was Tuchel, like clapping the Chelsea fans the last game of the season, and all the
Mm,
crowd was singing like I don't know the chant for Tuchel, whatever. And
yeah.
since then, we've had about three managers and flipping 11th or 12th.
Also, the fact that you sacked him in not what September or whatever it was, that just doesn't make any sense. The
Like
fact that you can have had a worse season than your first like 1 month doesn't it just doesn't compute.
we're gonna have our lowest ever points tally in the Premier League era as well, which is fantastic. Um, but yeah. Anyway, we move. Man City were crowned champions at the weekend as they beat Chelsea 1-0. Um, any
Lovely.
complaints? Any complaints on that one, or
Um,
deserved win?
no, I think lots of people are saying that Gary Neville deserves an apology for his prediction. Um, that Arsenal, not that Arsenal would bottle it, but that City are a different breed at the end of the season. That they might finish 10 points clear.
Mate, he hit that to a T, didn't he? That
Yeah,
was
honestly, he hit it to an absolute T. So you got to give him credit because some of the stuff he just does come up with is a bit mad, but that was so on point.
mm,
And the fact that it's all happened exactly how he said it would. Um, I think at one stance, I think Arsenal have bottled the league more times than anyone. I think there was actually a stat saying like the percentage of was it the percentage of the season somebody was first but didn't win the league. I think the first three are like Arsenal.
really.
Um, yeah, but this year they've been first in the league for like 94% of the season.
Yeah, I think it's like 240 odd days or something, like
Yeah.
something crazy. Um,
Um, I think the like games in hand they had in the last few months probably helped that, but still 90 odd percent, and you don't and you'd probably lose the league by nearly 10 points.
yeah, it's mad.
That's ridiculous. Um, Obviously Arsenal have had a great season, and it really has just been this last bit is ruined it.
Just capitulated. It was when they drew a few games in a row, didn't they? They drew to like Liverpool.
Yes,
Um,
they drew 2-2 to Liverpool, 3-3 to Southampton,
yeah, that Southampton game was mad.
and then lost to City.
Yeah,
No,
that
they
was
drew to sorry. Did they draw to City?
they
Can't
lost to
remember.
City 4-1, weren't it? And they got
Yeah.
battered at the Etihad.
And they just haven't really recovered. I mean, lost to Notts Forest.
Mm,
Um, and Notts Forest, credit to them for staying in the Premier League and doing bits, but Arsenal should have won that game.
yeah, I think
Uh,
it's a mad stat. Well, not a stat, but it's fact that I think it's the first time in a long time where all three promoted sides are now staying in the Premier League. That's fair play to them. That's pretty cool.
yeah. And yeah, most of them are in the bottom half of the table,
Mm-hmm.
but they get to stay up.
Staying
I
up.
think
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, I think City probably deserved champions this year. Um,
Do you think they can do the treble?
I'm scared that they will. Honestly, I mean, I can't see Inter Milan. I think lost at the weekend. I can't see them beating City. And to be honest, I can't really see United beating City in the FA Cup.
You just hope that, you know, the derby game in the final will be, put a bit of pressure back on City.
I
Whereas
think
I don't think,
that's the best chance that
yeah,
anyone has of stopping their treble at the moment, is that United game, just because of like we tend to do well in a derby every now and then.
hmm
We need Solskjaer back. I mean, I don't think we lost a derby game. Uh, what a season that was. I don't think we lost a derby game, but it was one of our worst seasons ever. It was great. Um, so yeah, I can't see us stopping them. And if they win the treble, that's just hurts.
bury your head, mate, until the new season starts again. But
It's
yeah,
just
I
hurts.
mean, Man City have been so good for a while now, and they've finally found that piece, that big, massive Norwegian bloke up top that fits perfectly, and I think he's probably just kicked them on to the next gear.
I
Um,
think people like saying Haaland makes them a worse team, that they don't play as well. It's just ridiculous. Like, he scored 36 goals in his first season. I think Andy Cole has come out and said that he'll struggle next year. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know what point this season has made you think he will struggle.
no, I can't see him.
There's no game that makes it look like. Obviously, he hasn't scored against Chelsea,
Yep,
um, which is I think the only team that stopped him. So that's Chelsea's trophy this year.
I'll take it.
Yeah, if,
I'll take something this
uh,
year.
and yeah, I think he's just going to get better and better. And if he scores 50 again next season, it's just ridiculous.
I saw something on like Twitter and social media and stuff this week, and he just seems, obviously I've heard a lot of people say this. He's like the most unproblematic guy. He's out here just playing Minecraft and just wearing pretty much PJs to their like
Yeah.
title winning party, and he just seems like he just don't give any fucks.
No, he's great. I think he's a not breath of fresh air. I think there's other players like him, but I think in terms of that kind of player, doesn't seem to like he has an ego, but it doesn't seem to be the be all and end all. Not like
Not
a
exactly.
Ronaldo who literally just gets pissed off with everything if it's not about him, or even a Messi who's very quiet and doesn't really say much, and when he does, he still says he's the best. Like Haaland, he just wants to be there to play football. That's all he cares about.
Exactly, exactly.
Um, and I think it's nice to see. It's sad to see that Solskjaer tried to sell him to United for 4 million a few years back, but that's that's a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Good old
But
Glazers, eh?
to be fair, he probably wouldn't be the same player
No,
if he
I
came to
mean,
United at that point.
when you've got Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan and Bernardo Silva and putting them on a plate for him, then yeah, then it's going to be a lot easier. But it's going
Yeah,
to be interesting with City next year because I think they could potentially lose Gundogan. Um, I think he's rumored to go to Barcelona, but then there's also a rumor that Man City are trying to work out a swap deal for Bayern for Cancelo to go to Bayern and Man City to get Joshua Kimmich, which doesn't seem fair to me, but
it's not particularly a like for like switch that.
no, not really like for like. But if Gundogan goes, it will definitely fill that hole.
It will
Um,
do. Like they don't need Cancelo, obviously. Um, but I thought that Cancelo like they didn't want Cancelo. Like he
yeah,
hardly played.
I thought that.
Um, apparently Bayern want Ronaldo, so I
Mate.
don't know what's happening there. But
Also,
yeah, and also like Bernardo Silva, is he still staying? Like he was getting signed by like Real Sociedad last year, and then didn't go, and then now he's still one of the best players. Like
he's wanted out. Like him and City have sort of had a love-hate relationship. I swear yeah, like you said, he was going to go about 2 seasons in a row now. Like, he's just
yeah,
still there kicking ball and being an absolute baller.
yeah.
So
I think it was like was it last year or beginning of this year? Like I think De Bruyne got injured, and then he played, and he was literally their best player. Like kept scoring. He loves scoring in a derby, which is sick. But yeah, I'm surprised. Interested to see where he goes. Apparently, United have 200 mil to spend in this transfer window.
Start on this whole Neymar bullshit.
Just Neymar, good Neymar. You never know. Neymar wants out. I mean, Messi wants out. Oh, what's to stop us going the whole hog here?
I think I think that if Neymar came to the Prem, obviously, don't get me wrong, he's an incredible player, but he has so many long spouts out due to injury as it is at PSG. I think one huge challenge from Ben Mee, and he'd be out for the whole season. Do you know what I mean? Like
He would get crunched.
he would get crunched.
Um,
Dan Burns not going to be having any of it. Let's be real.
I mean, I think everyone wants to see him in the Premier League, but yeah, I don't know how he'll handle it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some big moves like Messi, like Sam said. Like, is he going to go to Saudi Arabia or is he going to have one more move in Europe? But
Apparently, like he might go back to Barca.
really interesting. I think I don't even know Barca's funds anymore. They're like
No,
bank.
no. I mean, they managed to win the league despite being like 500 million in debt,
Yeah,
having to like some of their players not being registered properly, so have to play for like the reserves. Yeah,
tuppence.
so I don't get that team.
Let's talk about La Liga because it's not been the greatest of weeks for La Liga. Vinicius Junior was subjected to quite a lot of racist abuse in their game against Valencia. I think he was at Valencia. And mate, it was just mad. It was actually grim to see and
But
hear.
and like obviously they were chanting just awful things. Um, but he pointed it out to the referee, who then VAR went to the monitor. He then sent him off, even though he was then being like, obviously being racially abused, and then he got chokeholded out of the way, and he
Exactly.
got sent off. Like, I don't understand it. And then all the everyone seems to be associated with the Spanish teams and that Spanish league. I've basically said this is a specific problem. It doesn't happen any other time.
Yeah.
When it quite clearly does, and
Uh,
we've seen it happen plenty of times. I think Valencia Valencia probably done the thing. What they should have done is they've banned them for life from the stadium. But like the president of La Liga has basically said this isn't a league wide problem.
no.
This is a very minuscule part of the league. I think they posted like a picture of a stadium and then like a section outside of the stadium for racists, which I don't understand that because is there a stand just outside just for racists? Is that what they're building? Um, yeah, it baffles me the way they handle it. I think Diego Simeone has also come out and said like Spanish people aren't racist
It's
and like, saying this it's basically it's not a problem, it's not a big problem. But like it's similar to the problem in Italy with Lukaku getting absolutely hounded over there. It seems to be quite big in Europe.
it
This
does, yeah.
racism.
Sadly, we're no better, really. So obviously
Yeah.
not probably don't get as extreme as that, but there has been still instances in England as well, which is a shame. But yeah, just going back to the Vinicius Junior thing, it's just like I think they tried to like justify it because they were like, oh, he riles up the crowd. He like he'll speak to the crowd. Like that's got nothing to do with it, like at all.
And to be fair, he didn't react in like an outrageous way. Like
Didn't
he
like
was
start like
he,
kicking like Cantona, like kicking a fan or anything, did he? Like
exactly. If anything, he was like restricting himself. That's just and the fact that he got sent off. And I just don't get it. Just don't get
it's
it.
it's actually mind-boggling. Um, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. A proper shame to see. And I think he's done some good posts this week about it, standing up for himself and saying that um, I don't want any hashtags. I want sort of punishments. I want like sort of something to happen. And he's right, totally right to say that. You
Yeah,
can't. The amount of times we've said, pray for this or stand up for this, but in reality, it happens again next week. So if
yeah.
you
It's the
don't,
same. It's similar to the like the kneeling before or just after kickoff or just before kickoff. Like it gets to a point where yes, you've brought it into the bigger picture, but that's when something else needs to happen.
Exactly.
Just kneeling every week for weeks on end isn't doing anything.
There needs to be a points deduction, or there needs to be a stadium ban, or something like that to deter people from doing it again. Because otherwise, it's not going to change. It's not going to
Mm.
change. It's a sad, sad situation. But yeah, that was a big shame to see this week. And then moving on into Italy, I heard that the Napoli head coach apparently might leave at the end of the season, which is such a weird one.
How does that make any sense?
They've won their first league title in like God knows how long by so many points, and I think he don't get along with the board. I think the
I was
owners.
going to say, I heard that it's not particularly a decision that he's made, but the board. But like that would be a stupid decision from the board because he's basically God at the moment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's one of the most well-liked person in Napoli. If they sacked him, like there'd be riots.
Hmm. Yeah.
So very odd.
I think in Serie A as well. Juventus were actually handed their 10-point deduction, so they're now outside the European spots. I think they were like second or third or something. Now they're dropped down to seventh, so they're out of Europe.
I mean, Milan have gotten in.
I think so. I think so. At the minute, I don't think the season's is. I don't think the season's over. But yeah, Juventus always seem to be in the mud somehow. Like,
Okay. I don't understand. Did they got it and then they took it away?
took it away, and now it's been put back on. I think I don't know. It's a weird one.
Very strange. So yeah, Milan now fourth by 3 points with 2 games to go.
Few games to go.
Bloody hell.
I don't really see much appeal from Juventus on social media, so maybe like they kind of like knew knew something about it was going on.
Is it for the same thing for a different thing?
I have no idea.
The board of guarantor of the Italian Olympic Committee suspended the original 15-point penalty and ordered a review, and that's changed to 10 points.
So it was going to be more
So they fall temporarily to seventh.
temporarily.
It
Could be
doesn't
more.
mean that they can't come back. So, Jesus Christ, they're
Uh,
going to be going up and down this table like nobody's business.
who knows if Juve anymore? Who knows? I think staying in Italy. I think Jose Mourinho has done it again. I think they're Roma into another European
European
final.
final. Yeah,
I think I saw the stats of their second leg game in the semi final. I think they had like 28% possession. It's like classic Mourinho, vintage Mourinho performance.
literally.
And I think if Tammy wins, I think if Tammy wins, he's won every single club European competition there is to win.
Oh yeah, fair.
Fair enough to him. I think West Ham are through to their conference Europa League conference final. So they're fair play to them.
That's cool.
That's a bit of a weird season for them, isn't it? Like they were
Very
scrapped
odd.
out in relegation for so long, pretty much safe now, and now they're through to European final. Like
Doesn't make any sense. And they do have a chance of winning that, to be honest.
they do, they do. I think they've
They're playing
got
well.
Yuri and Tina in the final.
Yeah, we were pretty sick, to be fair.
Yeah. So it'd be tough for them, but very interesting.
No
And then
Fiorentina in the league. They're 11th, so pretty similar seasons.
yeah. I think there was an absolute madness in the League One playoff semi-final, right? Sheffield Wednesday.
What, Sheffield Wednesday in Peterborough? Is it Peterborough?
It
Oh
was
my word. Peterborough won 4-0 on the first leg. And then Sheffield did the unthinkable. In the 98th minute, managed to bring it back to 4-0.
yeah, 4-0, so 4-all overall.
That's it.
Madness. Wasn't there a couple goals in
Couple goals in extra time. Yep. Which again, mad. It went to penalties. Yeah, just I feel bad for Peterborough. Like you won 4-0. That should be pretty plain sailing.
there was like I think there was like a Sheffield Wednesday fan that like ripped up his ticket.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That
How
was like
gutted.
after the first leg, he was like ripping up his ticket, saying like I'm done with this club, whatever. And now he's like obviously they're through to the playoff final. Whether he got a ticket, his ticket back to watch that second leg, I don't know. But
No, he doesn't deserve it.
no, he don't deserve it.
That's ridiculous.
No.
You bought a ticket, just go watch them. I think that's the stupidest thing I've seen. But no, it's but to be fair, most of the playoffs this year have been mad.
Mad, absolutely crazy.
Uh, Notts County somehow winning their game.
Yeah, no, that was a bit
Penalties.
because everyone was like saying, "Oh, Notts County deserve it if Wrexham go up." Do you know what I mean? And
I mean, I can kind of understand it. It's a bit harsh that only one team gets to automatic promotion from the National League. Um, and also they've got like they did get over 100 points. But then again, that's the way the rules are. So you kind of have to suck it up. But their semi-final, they were 2-0 down, won 3-2 in the last minute. They were what were they? They were 2-0, 2-1 down, 2-0 down, something like that. And they managed to bring it back to they scored in like the 80s something minute. And I think there might have been a couple of goals in extra time as well. And then went to penalties and managed to win on penalties. They did a tactical goalkeeper substitution.
classic Chelsea way.
Yeah, which paid off well. I think they were like this. They're bringing this. They're subbing on this keeper. He saved a penalty during the season, like just one. That's a lot to risk on just one. He saved one penalty this year. So, but I mean, yeah, they managed it, and they did deserve it. But harsh for the other teams. Bournemouth played well against them, absolutely dominated. But yeah, tough.
Is it Boreham Wood in the final?
No, not in the final. They played in the semi.
Oh, okay.
But Bournemouth in the semi.
In other news this week, Ivan Toney got suspended 8 months for his betting scam.
Yeah,
Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I don't really understand. Like, it gets 8 months, which is quite long for betting, but you can get a lot. You can get like an 8 game ban for being racist.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't really equate. And like, yeah, you can. To be fair, I don't understand the betting on yourself. I understand if you're then like saying like, oh, I'll get sent off and get sent off and like properly actually rigging the games. But if you're just betting on Brentford to win,
I don't think he was. I don't even think he was betting on himself or Brentford. I think he was betting on other fixtures that weren't involving his team.
oh, but why does that mean you can't bet?
Apparently, it's just you can't
That's
bet.
just against the rules.
Yeah, you can't. If you're a sports person, you can't bet. Apparently,
Yes.
on any sport,
Oh.
supposedly.
But yeah, I think 8 months is quite harsh.
I think a lot of people were saying that like it is harsh because you've still got football clubs that have gambling's like sponsorships on their
Pretty much
shirts.
all of them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
many do. Like, it's not like they're like trying to go against gambling and say it's like the worst thing. Like, most of the teams are sponsored by some
Yeah.
sort of betting company. Um, the Premier League is probably sponsored by a betting. It's all a bit backwards. 8 months, and obviously they've known about this since before the World Cup.
A long time, man. Yeah, a long time.
Because everyone was wondering why he didn't get in the England squad, and then it came out that he bet on like 230 games.
I mean,
Uh,
which is a lot when you know you're not
which is
supposed to do it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You'd think you could do it a bit more subtly than just, oh yeah, I've made my own bet account and just
Just like
started doing
one,
it.
yeah, just one flutter there, one flutter there, but no, like 200.
Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous. But they brought in the ban at the end of the season. Like,
Well,
he can
two games
technically come back
before,
to
yeah.
training in yeah, and he can technically come back to training in 4 months. So basically September,
Mhm.
I think that it's like sometime in September is the first time. But like they're giving him the ban at the best possible time.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, summer
It's
break.
not like they give it to him in November, so he can't play the rest of the season.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think it's very odd timing. I think the ban is a lot for what it was at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it's a bit much.
Yeah, I think it's. Don't get me wrong, it is wrong. If you're not allowed to do that and you still do
Yeah, it's
it,
against the rules. Yeah,
it's against the rules. And also, I just don't. to like end on this. Like I don't understand. Like he's minted. Like what if I could understand if like you're betting just to try and win some more money to like
Hmm.
have buy a new shirt or something at the end of the payment or whatever. But you're minted. Like why do you need to bet? Like it's
And
like same with Drake when you bet it's like $2 million or so on like I don't know someone to win a fight. Like you're minted. Like what is okay?
why are you doing it? I think, to be fair, it may be something stemming from when he was younger. It might be
Mm,
addiction when he was younger, something like that. So,
mm.
but yeah, I know what you mean. Like they probably get like 200 grand a month. You'd think they wouldn't need to,
No, 100%, hundred
but
percent.
I think it happens a lot.
The playoff championship playoff final is between Luton and Coventry, which is
The
mad.
difference, like that doesn't those two te obviously Luton finished third, or no, third, yeah, third. Um, so they probably were. I mean, they weren't even the favourites to win the
No.
playoff. Middlesbrough were.
Hmm.
So they've done a madness beating them, and Middlesbrough are not in it because Middlesbrough just bottled it. Even with Carrick as their manager, who's doing an absolutely insane job. Um, but yeah, Luton. I hope Luton win.
Up the Luton. Up the
Yeah,
Luton.
no one wants to see Coventry in the Prem.
No, no. But yeah, Luton are just a good story. They went back all the way back down and came all the way back up again. So it's a good story. And I think there's one player from Luton that would become like the first player that's gone from
Yeah.
non-league all the way up through the leagues
I
into
think
the.
it's the left back or something like that.
Can't remember what his name is, but I think there was one player. So on purely on that aspect, it would be pretty cool. Um,
Mm.
and also Premier League games could be at Milton Keynes Don Stadium, which is also pretty mad.
Which is quite fun.
It's
You'd
quite
have
fun.
to get to the Luton
No,
games.
but actually
Luton
would.
Sheffield.
It's also the end of the WSL season. It's come.
Oh, I was gonna bring this up. What a season.
What a season! Chelsea and United are going toe for toe, mate.
Yeah. I mean, we need just to be fair, your last game is against Reading, who were at the bottom of the table.
And also, I'm not even joking. We've been battering teams recently, like four,
Um,
five, six, 7-0. It's been
the
mad.
only team you battered was us in the FA Cup final. You won 1-0. And like we we only just took it to the last day. We had to score a 93rd winner against City, I think.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was mad.
And so I think Chelsea will take the title, barring some miracle. But
They never a footballer.
what a result! Champions League football for United next year. It's going well.
Good. It's been a really exciting season. It's a really exciting season, and for it to go down to the final day, can't complain with that, can you?
Not at all.
Um, the FPL season is wrapping up soon. I actually haven't looked in terms of how close our league is. Um,
It's a lot less close now. So it went through a few weeks of being like all of us being like 35 points away from each other. But I think now, I think you're 30 points ahead of me.
yeah, I've just had a look. I'm 40 odd points ahead of you at the minute.
40 points ahead of me. I think I'm 35 points ahead of Luke, who is like 45 points ahead of Ben.
Right.
So, barring any major casualties in the last game week, I feel like this will be our final standing.
And I'll take it, Sam.
Oh yeah,
B2B boys, one and
take,
two. I'll take
taking
it.
the. It's
Uh,
good. It's good. I mean, I'm very happy with my season this year. I think I've got like 300, 400 more points than I did last year.
you've done well. You've done actually
Honestly,
really well. I can't lie. That triple captain Ronaldo scenario last year
God,
for
that was all of the weeks that I chose any of the chips just went all horribly wrong. Whereas this year they've gone all right. I'm happy.
I might need to I know the title's not done yet, but it's not looking good for Ben. Let's be real. It's not looking good.
No,
So
it's not. No.
we put a forfeit on the line at the start of the season. We did the same thing last year. The winner of our little fantasy league gets to choose a kit for the loser to buy. So that would, at the minute, if it stays the way it is, which would mean I would have to choose a kit for Ben to buy. Ben is a Liverpool fan, so there are a few teams that I could really torture him with. Any suggestions?
I
Everton
mean,
or Man United or
I was going to
Chelsea?
say Everton or Man United, either of those, he'll probably wear once for the photo and then burn.
And then Ben, yeah.
Uh, don't know. It's just it'll be tough.
I mean,
Um,
I I like you, Ben. You're a good lad, but I don't think someone can get away with what happened last year. Someone needs to be punished.
I got away with it quite a lot last year.
I've got an away Southampton kit.
The
Um,
way Southampton kit, which turned out to be a lot nicer than I thought it was.
yeah, which we pretty much all originally ranked quite low in our away kit rankings last year. But yeah, Sam's
Yeah,
actually turns out he likes it in the end. Maybe it was a ploy all along.
yeah. We'll have to see what Ben chose as his bottom.
Yes, yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. But yeah, we'll get back to you on that one, and hopefully, I know Sam's away next week, but hopefully we can link up with those boys to sort of recap our bold predictions and then get a photo for the Twitter for the socials with the loser in a certain kit.
I'm
Um,
very happy with my bold predictions.
you've done pretty well, haven't you? I can't remember what I did, but what did you predict?
I think I
Tuchel
had,
to go, Tuchel to go, wasn't it?
yeah,
Tuchel.
Tuchel to be sacked, which turned out to be a lot quicker than I thought. Um, I mean, Xhaka not to get a red card. He's got one game left.
I'm sorry. It's a miracle that Xhaka hasn't had a red card yet.
Exactly. So he's got one game left. Don't let me down. Um, I think my other one was like um, Odegaard to get the assist record. But I mean, he scored more goals than I thought he would.
I
He
mean,
scored like 15 goals.
for bold predictions, we had to go. It's in the title. We had to go bold. So you've been close. You've got
Yeah,
one right, and two are pretty close. Well, hopefully Jackie gets a red, and you might be.
exactly. Hopefully that gets there. I'll be happy.
But yeah, I can't even remember what I put. No idea. I don't. I think I was miles off it. I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember one of them.
What was that?
Yeah, wasn't it Jesus to outscore both Kane and Haaland? I think that might have been one.
Yeah, that was one. That was one. That's got to be one of the worst bold predictions. I think the only other one was I think Ben had Darwin Núñez to be top goal scorer or something like
Yeah.
that. Or potentially outscore Haaland or something to do with Darwin Núñez. But yeah, it's fun to look back on those at the end of the season when it's all said and done. But yeah, hopefully we can link up with those guys in a
Yeah.
week or two. Shall we move to golf, mate? Because there was one hell of a story in golf this week.
What? It was pretty insane. PGA Championship, second major of the season. Got the live players coming back and playing with the PGA players again, causing controversy.
Wasn't it?
I think Justin Thomas and John Spieth not having a great week.
No.
Getting quite angry. DeChambeau getting angry. I think there's a
Yeah.
video of DeChambeau like kneeling down next to his ball, and so one of just somebody in the crowd just being like, if you you're not a pussy if you lay up, and just DeChambeau just saying just fuck off, which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, and the one big story from the week.
Michael Block, mate. What
Just
happened?
a guy out of nowhere. He is normally a teacher who has gives lessons for like $120. I think he's been like California's top golfer for like 8 of the last 9 years, and just had probably the weekend of his life. Managed to make the cut, and then find out he's playing with Rory McIlroy, which he absolutely loved, and then managed to dunk an ace straight in the hole in front of Rory McIlroy. Like, it doesn't get much better than that.
You have to check it out online on socials. Like he dunks this in, like it just perfect,
Yeah,
chips it right in the hole. Don't get much more perfect than that in front of Rory, like Sam said. And just what a guy, man. That is
yeah,
something like straight out of a film, like straight out of a film. Didn't he finish in the top 15?
yeah. To finish top 15, he gets an invite to the next PGA Tour event. Um, and I'm guessing some. I think some other things as well. But yeah, what a weekend for him.
He's
I
made,
think he also got like 200 grand from it or something. But
yeah, I was just about to say that. He's made a lot of money um, for himself and for his family. And yeah, mate, it's just he looked so emotional when they told him that he's been accepted on to play next year on or the following tournament or whatever it was. He was just like in bits, and yeah, man, it's just such a feel good story. Like he's just, and you can just definitely tell it's going to be like a Netflix film next year. Like just this golf like coach or golf club pro from California, and he gets invited to PGA, and he has the weekend of his life. Like fair play to him. What a guy. What an absolute guy.
love
Um,
it. And
anything
obviously,
go for?
Brooks Koepka won,
Yeah,
so becomes the first live player to win a major since they left. Don't like Brooks Koepka, so don't really have any. I think Hovland had like a double bogey on like the second to last hole or something, so put him out contention a little bit. Bit annoying, but yeah, annoying Brooks Koepka one.
saw a video of him like at the ice hockey or something like 24 hours or 48 hours potentially after he
Yeah,
won, and he looked like he was in the crowd, and he looked like he was absolutely wired. He was like his eyes like this. I was like,
right. He
what?
looks wide.
Any tennis news? French Open
Um,
qualifiers have started, in there?
yeah, Rafael Nadal will not be playing
Oh, is it
this
confirmed?
year's French Open. He has said that he still needs time. Um, he's led some retirement stuff out there. He probably won't be playing again for a few months, so probably will miss Wimbledon as well. He said he might play some Davis Cup, which I think is the end of the year. So it's not looking like he's going to be playing much. If he does come back next year, I think it'll probably be his last. He might just come back for a French Open to play that as his last tournament, which I would imagine. Which is a shame.
Is a shame.
Obviously, he's kind of the second last of the big four to kind of start going to the wayside. Obviously, Djokovic is still playing insane, even though he lost in like the quarters or something. But I think the new lot of tennis stars are looking quite good. A lot of rivalries. You got Zverev who can't seem to win, but also knows he can't. So he basically comes out and says, "I'm playing like shit. This is the worst tennis
Exactly.
I've ever played." Yeah, and he's like in the semi-final. He's like, "This is the worst tennis I've ever played. I'm playing shit." Um, Medvedev is winning everything, winning on clay, which is quite funny, um, because he shouldn't be winning on clay. And he's having fun doing it. And a lot of the young tennis players are looking really good. I mean, Tsitsipas still can't win a final to save his life. Like you just can't get there
No.
or even win it. Medvedev seems to be the new guy winning everything. So kind of like the next Djokovic in that way. So it's interesting. This Roland Garros is kind of wide open at the moment.
Which is good.
Obviously, you've got Djokovic. Yeah, it's good. Obviously, you've got Djokovic, who, if he wins it, I don't like the only last two people who have won it in the last like 16 years is um, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. Wawrinka, I think, has won a couple, and yeah, that's it really. That's the list.
That's mad, isn't it? If you think about it, because Nadal's obviously so dominant, and then obviously you got Federer and Djokovic, which are pretty good too. So
Yeah. So it is a bit of a crazy one, but it'll be interesting. A bit sad that he's not playing. He'll probably be there, but he won't play. It's just It'll feel weird without him there.
I think I saw something as well to say that 2024 would be probably his last year, and he might just do a farewell, even if he's maybe not 100% fit. He'll still give it a go
I
at
think
some of the Grand
he's been
Slams.
100% in the
Yeah,
last like 10 years.
yeah, yeah.
I
He's
don't
had
think
so
he's ever
many,
been 100%.
he's had so many injuries. But yeah, we should be sad because he really is the moving of an era, isn't it? Like obviously,
It really feels like that at the moment.
mhm,
Um, and it's just odd. I mean, Djokovic is still doing it, but he's got some elbow injury and
mhm,
he's feeling a bit, and um, he's losing just a bit more than he used to.
used to,
Obviously, I say used to, like he used to lose like 4 games a year, so it wasn't like he was he was just
yeah.
ridiculous. He's probably losing as much as a normal person would lose
Yeah,
at the moment. You've got like obviously Carlos Alcaraz, who is also winning everything but is injury prone.
mm,
Um, so yeah, it's an exciting time for tennis.
exciting times, man. I'll tell you what isn't exciting at the moment. F1.
Yep.
Um, um, the Imola Grand Prix was cancelled last week, and rightly so. There was flooding in their area, and the
Everybody.
yeah, it looked really, really bad.
Yeah.
Town was there was the next to the track was majorly affected, and it was the right decision to call it off, considering the amount of fans that would have been coming to the area and putting their lives at risk and all sorts of the teams. And I think I saw like the paddocks were completely underwater as well, which
Yeah.
was
It was odd. It was like a pool.
it was really
Um,
strange. Really, really
yeah, I
strange.
think the only thing they could do was cancel it or postpone it, whatever they've done.
But it is Monaco this weekend. It's a bit of a Marmite track. Love it or hate it is. It brings the glitz and the glamour. It brings probably the most exciting Saturday of the season. But the race is potentially a bit of a bore fest. So
It's pretty shit, normally. It's, it is just pretty shit. There's nowhere to overtake. The cars are too big to overtake at this track anymore. I like Monaco, and I think it's one of those that is historic. Um, and I understand why it's on the calendar. I think it should be on the calendar. Um, but it is a boring race. I think they just have to face facts that they just have a boring race there.
I mean, if
If you win qualifying, you're odds on to win.
I just hope because obviously Red Bull have dominated this year. There's not been a race that they haven't won. So I just hope that you know I know Red Bull's car is quick, but especially in straight line tracks like Miami, like Baku, you're going to get the full potential out of that car. But Monaco is different, and obviously
Yeah,
you've got Charles Leclerc. I know, although he's prone to an error, and I know Ferrari are prone to an error.
he
Like
loves a Saturday. He doesn't love a Sunday
he
at
loves a
Monaco.
Saturday, and if you stick it on pole, 99% chance you're going to win at Monaco. So if it's a Red Bull 1-2, then there's potentially no point watching the Grand Prix because you know that they're just going to win easy. So I'm hoping that either a Charles Leclerc or a Alonso can just stick it on pole and put a bit of a surprise in. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that one. Otherwise, it could be a bit of a bore fest.
Yeah, which is kind of what it sounds like it's going to be.
A little bit, a little bit. Um, NBA playoffs. Any updates on that? On that one?
Well, the Denver Nuggets have just swept the Lakers 4-0.
Bloody
Swept them 4-0. I mean, to be fair, they were all relatively close-ish games. None of them were like wipeouts, but I think, yeah, just the Nuggets tore through them. I think LeBron had 40 points in the last game, but still wasn't enough. It's the Denver Nuggets' first NBA Finals,
first. What?
first ever NBA Finals. Nikola Jokic is getting them there.
He's a
Whether
baller.
it's
I like him. I like him.
he
He's cool.
he's averaging a triple double in this playoffs. He's had 8 triple doubles in this playoffs alone. Like he is absolutely balling, and it's quite nice. It's quite good to see. Like I think I love the story of LeBron getting to the finals again and the Lakers, and I
Mhm.
think everyone is in love with this Lakers Celtics kind of rivalry in the finals with them have won like 17 titles each. I think it is. So I understand that, but it's quite. I think also that like the Celtics are 3-0 down to the Heat. Like it doesn't look like either of them will get through.
No, yeah.
Or obviously the Lakers haven't, but it doesn't look like the Celtics will win either. No team has ever won from 3-0 down in a playoff series ever. So the odds aren't in their favor, and also the Heat are playing outstanding. And I think if it is a Denver Miami finals, it's going to be hard to for a neutral. It's going to be hard to know who you want to win because they're both very likable teams.
Mm.
I think Denver get the plaudits they deserve, and like Jimmy Butler on the Heat has kind of revived that team. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. But if because they play tonight, if the Heat win, then there'll be a 9-day gap between now and
Wow.
the being played because normally there's a big gap just to wait until they know who's going to be in it. But if they're both two clean sweeps,
Yeah, because yeah, more often than not, it goes down to the last game, or is a little bit closer than a clean
yeah,
sweep. Do you know what I mean? That's mad.
exactly.
If it goes
So
the way it's looking, more than likely, who do you think would win between the Nuggets and the Heat, Miami Heat?
I think the Nuggets would take it. They have kind of dominated the whole playoffs. I think the only games they lost, I think they had a tough one against the Suns in the first round. I think it went to the game seven. But apart from that, I think they've swept the whole way. So I'd see Denver winning it. But I mean, anything can happen. Obviously, it's a 7-game series. It's a bit different to. It's not just relying on one game. I think if they had one game to do it, I think Denver would win. But I think Miami could get there in seven, or it's tough.
It's tough.
But like Miami, I think like the seventh seed, and Denver are like the first seed of their
Oh really?
conference. So
No.
it's not in terms of that, they're not. It should be easy win for the. So there's it just came up, but it's went again. That's helpful. No, trying to find the table. There we go. Yeah, the Heat were the eighth seed,
Damn.
so they're the last to get into the playoffs.
They've done well then. That
And
can't
man,
happen.
they beat the Bucks. They beat the Knicks. They're going to beat the Celtics at this rate. Whereas Denver Nuggets won their conference, came first by led by 2 games. So yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy.
That's pretty mental. I
Mm,
love an underdog though, so hopefully it's not like
yeah,
a if those two meet in the final, hopefully it's a good entertaining final rather than a complete battering if they are
yeah.
that different seeds. But yeah, cricket. Jofra Archer has suffered another injury setback. He's
Sam.
now out for the Ashes, out for the summer. Absolutely gutted for the bloke, man. He's just he had such an explosive entrance into the cricket scene, and
I
now he's
know.
just riddled with an injury. Like, just can't catch a break, can he?
No, it's sad. I mean, everyone just wants to watch him play, and he just whenever an opportunity comes up like this, just something happens. It must be heartbreaking for him. Um, I just hope that he can kind of get the rest he needs to get stronger. But I mean, we probably overused him when he was playing. He was playing all forms of cricket and
Yeah, we
um,
did.
was bowling 96 miles an hour. We haven't really gotten his longevity down. Not quite as well as Jimmy Anderson.
Well, yeah, that was going to say that actually. 20 years this week to the day since Jimmy played his first Test match for England, and he got 5 wickets on debut. He's an absolute goat. He, providing he's not injured, he should be in the Ashes squad.
I think
Um,
even he had an interview, and I think he said like he's looking to play hopefully 3 out of the 5 tests.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
he's been very realistic. I think he's been very good with his injuries, taking the right amount of time off. Even if he's played a series, like when he played a test series with England, he'll play the first
yeah,
series, and will take like a 5 wicket haul, 7 wicket haul for that test, and then he'll take the second one out and he won't play.
Yeah,
And he's been very good at that, and obviously it's helped his career. And he's played 20 years, which is insane.
insane.
Um,
For a pace bowler as well. To keep
exactly. And he's had his fair few injuries. Like, he's not. It's not that he's been lucky. Like, he's been out for a lot
yeah,
of games. Like, if he played all the games he could have done, he probably would have 100 more wickets. Um, that being said, he's obviously the highest wicket taker in pace bowlers in history. So yeah, I love Jimmy Anderson. I always root for him when he plays because
yeah, me too,
I just
man.
want to see him get wickets.
I think he's like 15 behind, 15 or 20 behind Shane Warne,
Yeah.
who's second. You obviously got Murray Lithern, who's number one, who's a little bit further ahead. But it would be amazing to see Jimmy break that, well, get second place this summer.
Mm.
Um, and I think Stuart Broad, again, another one that's been going for a while, not as long as Jimmy, but he should be in the Ashes squad as well. I think I saw quite a funny clip of he's got a new Ashes song or a new song that they're promoting, which obviously takes a little bit of fun out of what's the Australian left-handed batsman? What's it? David Warner. He has a bit of beef with him.
It's because obviously Broad gets worn out every single time. It's
Every
great.
time, every time, and it's
The last Ashes was amazing. I think pretty sure he got him out like 7 out of 10 times or something. So I'm hoping for more of that.
100%.
Um, it's going to be an exciting Ashes.
I can't wait, mate. I'm actually so buzzing for it. It's gonna be so good because obviously we're playing this Bazball. Last time out, we got absolutely slapped about in the
Yeah.
Ashes tour in Australia. I think they beat. I think it was a complete, you know, like battering. I think it was 5-0. I think it might have been. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, I'm hoping for it to be a lot closer. And yeah, and Jimmy will be swinging it.
when's the first test?
I actually don't know, you know, because they've got the practiced practice test with Ireland
Yeah,
coming up in June
16th of June.
16th. Okay, 16th.
I mean, Georgia wanted to know what I want to do for my birthday. Just going to stick the TV on for 7 hours or how
Yeah.
just watch the Ashes.
That's why I want to get this decking sorted because I could just sit there, beer in
Watch
hand,
out.
just sit there in the chair. Like,
So
um,
good.
yeah, and there's nothing better with a bit of cricket on in the summer.
No, and like Steve Smith is playing for Surrey at the moment, I think,
Yeah, Surrey or
and
Sussex, one of those, I can't remember.
he's got an out LBW 3 times in like the last
Yeah.
week. Um, and so it's exciting to very excited for it.
I saw him. He got he bowled his Australian teammate Michael. I think it's like Nessa or something like that. He bowled him out when I can't remember. Is it Sussex or Surrey? Whoever Smith's playing for. He bowled him out,
Yeah.
but it was the worst ball I've ever seen in my life. It was he's a spinner, Steve Smith, but it was
Yeah.
the biggest
Well,
loop.
I think that's what and any like non bowler, their bowling is spin because
It
like they're not
just
going to be fast enough to ever get away with being a pace bowler.
it was like the biggest looper ever. Like this guy could have just come down the track and just hit it on a full toss to for six, but he just let it bounce and he just completely bowled him like a little bit of turn to be fair. But yeah, it was
Proper.
absolutely awful ball. Absolutely awful ball.
Oh
Um,
God.
but yeah, that pretty much wraps up the pod. Obviously, you got Russ Cook, the Hardy skis that we mentioned last week, is still running the length of Africa. I think he's on like day 31 now.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think he had this week he had a stomach bug. So everything that he ate, it was just coming out of both ends, which is pretty grim. But he still managed to do half a marathon.
Yeah. If it's still managed to do like 26K or something, I'm like, okay, you've had like one square of chocolate to eat. How are you managing this?
No idea.
Absolutely
And also
insane.
shout out Pat McAfee and the boys because they they're signed to ESPN now, so making that big money.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Hopefully, doing bits. I mean, seeing them on ESPN was very cool. They've got a big audience there, so it's big moves.
Big moves. I think a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, you're selling out." Like, but I think they're keeping the same format, and I think they're still
Yeah,
up.
I don't think he would. I think, like you said, he's done a lot with a lot of his co-hosts and stuff. We've got new families, and he's trying to be a bit more flexible and to get a bit more time for everyone. Obviously, he's got a new family, he's got a new kid,
Yeah, sure.
so I think it'll aid a bit of flexibility, so they don't have to do it like every single day.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and they might be able to use some highlights on ESPN.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the
The
NFL
only
stuff
thing missing is they aren't able to use like actual clips.
footage, yeah, actual clips. Which is annoying.
Which obviously hasn't hindered them, but it'd be quite good to see.
Mhm. All right. Any shockers or heroes of the week?
Um, Mine's going to be Shocker is going to be Arsenal for a bottle in the league.
Wow. Okay. Big one.
Top.
Um, my one, I think I got two, and they're both sort of football related. So the first one is actually Frank Lampard.
Yes.
Sorry, Frank. Um, I think he was quoted this week about the young players, in particular, Carney, Chukwuemeka and Mika. I think he said that you've got to wait your time and have to understand. I want to give him minutes, but I have to think about my job, which is
What, your
why
caretaker job?
your caretaker job, which you've lost six out of the flipping 7 or 8 games that you've had. Why are you just not playing youth? Like, why are you playing players that just don't want to be at the club anymore? And why are you
Yeah.
thinking about yourself first? Like, it's just, I don't know, just very
Yeah,
sus behaviour.
it is very sus behaviour, and he's I don't think he's thinking about his job at all, because if he was, then he would pick a completely different team.
Squad, yes.
Because you're like 12th in the league, you're only there to win the next game. It's not going to get you anywhere. You
No,
might as well try and win. Um, and like you've got good youth players, just play them.
just play exactly that. And then the other one was Rory Jennings. Rory Jennings is like a YouTuber, quite an opinionated Chelsea fan. He said at the start of the season that Haaland's going to flop. He said he won't. He'll have a tough first season. He won't cut it in the Prem, and Haaland's gone on to break all the records possible. So that's an absolute stinker. So
Yeah.
um,
I think
hero.
he has an apology.
Yeah, he has done an apology. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Quite rightly so.
Yeah, definitely. I think that video clip's going to be played for years to come.
Man, absolute years.
Absolute egg. Um, Hero of the week. War. I'm going to go with United women's team for taking it to the last day of the season.
Fair play. Michael Block.
Oh yeah, got to be done.
Got to be done. Michael Block, hero of the week. And yeah, that wraps up the pod. Sam's away next week, but we'll try and get an end of the season football roundup with the corridor lads to work out who's going to be getting the FPL forfeit. But yeah, other than that, enjoy the week and weekend of sport, and we'll catch you again next time in a
Sounds
bit.
good.